Hello everyone. Today we are going to learn about computer hardware, the physical part of computer, and how to safely prepare for disassembly. By the end of this session, you will be able to identify key hardware component and know the safety steps required before opening a computer system. Today's agenda is identify computer component, explain component function, learn tools for assembly and disassembly, follow safety and precaution rule. As we all know, our computer system has two parts. The first one is hardware. All the parts which are tangible to us are hardware, mechanical device in the computer, anything that we can touch. Software is all the part which we cannot touch or simply all the programs of the computer are software that tells our computer what to do. Everything like we have application software and operating system is also a type of software, system software. The next main thing we have is the data. Data is a piece of information or raw form of information is called data. Computer organize and present data and by processing data we get information. Users. Users are people operating the computer. Most important part because when a user gives our computer wrong instruction then the output will be wrong. So the most important part of any computer system is the user. User can operate it wisely and do some useful and productive work if the input goes wrong. As you know, by the user gives input to the computer and instruction to the computer to do things. If the input is wrong, then everything goes wrong. Here we have five essential components. Input component, the component through which a user instructs a computer about what to do. Processor, the engine that processes the instruction given by the user. Memory, there are the processor store information that is required during its computation. Storage, where information that is required to be used much later is stored. These are like mass storage device, hard disks, and other. Output, the component that communicate the result of computation to the user. Let's look into input and output device. Allow the user to interact. Input device accept data like keyboard, mouse. With the help of these device, we give our computer instruction. Output device deliver data. That's monitor, printer, speaker that deliver data to us and that shows what computer is doing and on the screen. Some devices are input and output like touch screen can be used both as input device and output device. Modem like modulator and demodulator. Storage device hold and programs permanently. Internal, external or remote. Magnetic storage. Floppy and hard drive are examples of magnetic storage which use magnet to access data. Optical storage like CD, DVD drives use a laser to access data. Solid-state electronic circuit extremely fast. External component of a computer, system unit and CPU case. Here I want to make you one point clear that most of the time people confuse CPU with system unit. CPU is totally different and system unit is totally different. The box you see in the desktop along the desktop in the table is a system unit and inside that system unit on a motherboard a chip is present which is called CPU. So don't confuse the word CPU, central processing unit, with a system unit. System unit hold all the systems like motherboard, all the chips and all the things like RAM, ROM, which are in the circuit board. Motherboard is in this inside the system unit, and the whole the casing and the system, the motherboard and the chip and the CPU, all the things are considered a system unit, while CPU is the chip and the motherboard. Monitor display processed output, keyboard used to get input from the in the form of text, command, mouse is used for pointing and navigation, speaker use headphones produce sounds, output, printer, scanner convert digital and physical copies. Internal component overview. Inside system unit. What we have inside system unit is motherboard, as I said earlier, processor, CPU, memory, RAM and ROM, storage drive, HDD and SSD, power supply unit, cooling system, expansion cards, sound card, network card, cables and connectors. Sometimes you are asked that why power supply is there, why cooling system is there. Power supply is there because it converts AC to DC and our computer operate on DC, which is why we called it an electronic device. And the cooling system is there because inside the computer we have some sensitive parts like graphic cards which cannot tolerate high temperature. That's why we have installed fans and heat sinks which absorb the heat during processing. Our computer heats up and which can be dangerous for the other parts. So the heat sink absorbs the heat and the fans make helps in keeping the temperature cool. What expansion cards help us to our extend the capabilities of computer, like adding network card we can connect to the computer our networks, wireless and sound cards and graphic cards enhance the quality of video played. On motherboard, the main circuit board that connects CPU, RAM, storage and peripheral device. It contains chipset, socket, and ports, distribute power and data between components by using electrical wire. Electrical wires are pathways, which are known as buses. Houses the BIOS basic system setup. The motherboard is like backbone of the computer. Every part communicate through it. Most recent computer we have replaced BIOS with UEFI. Picture skew of our motherboard where you can see there we have memory slots and we have the expansion slots. Here we can put our graphic cards and other things, and in these slots we can put our RAM, and there we have here its power supply and the fan and the cooling system is out there. You can see here it is. Toward the processor. You know what's processor? Processor is, as I mentioned earlier, the brain of computer and perform all calculations, logics and control operation. It consists of two main parts, that is ALU, which perform arithmetic logical unit, control unit and registers. It also contains registers, follows the fetch, decode and store. Control unit helps us to fetch, decode, execute the instruction from memory. CPU execute all instructions when you open a file, play a game or use an app. Memory device. What are memory device? Memory device stores data or programs small chips on the motherboard. More memory makes a computer faster. Random access memory, volatile memory. Random access memories, RAM, are volatile memories, store current data and programs. When you are working with MS Word, you just don't save it, it's in your RAM. And when the computer turned off, it does not save it all. And the data you're working in MS Word wipe out. And if you save it, it goes to the hard disk or cloud storage, and then it is stored safe. Even the computer is turned off, the data is still present there, and you can access it by turning on the computer. So this is the difference between volatile and non-volatile memory. Read-only memory, ROM or permanent storage, and holds computer boot's direction instructions to operate the hardware. ROM as we already learned about BIOS, basic input output systems, which are a ROM. Basically, they are ROM, and they stores timing, passwords, and all the things are stored when your computer get boot up, so that the startups, all the information is stored in the BIOS, which does not wipe out even if your computer is turned off. That's type of non-volatile memory. Comparison of volatile memory and non-volatile memory. Volatile memory requires power to hold data, while non-volatile memory holds data when power is off. Random access memory (RAM) is one example of volatile memory, and read-only memory is an example of non-volatile memory. Data in RAM has an address. RAM can store addresses. Basic input-output systems like BIOS, as I mentioned earlier. CPU reads data using the address. Power on self-test post is performed before opening the computer and ready for work. CPU can read any address. We have two types of memories inside CPU and inside motherboard. Registers, number of bits processor can handle. Word size or word length, larger indicates more powerful computer. Like we have larger word length means like 32-bit or 64 bits. Then 64-bit is more powerful than computer which can handle very large data at a time. Increase by purchasing new CPU. You can increase your computer processing power by purchasing new CPU, or like adding Core i7, Core i8, which are more faster versions. Cache memory. Cache or cache, you can pronounce it either way you like. Very fast memory holds common or recently used data. Speed up computer processing. We have three subcategories of cache memory. That's level 1 cache, level 2 cache, level 3 cache. Level 1 holds recently used data, level 2 holds upcoming data, and level 3 holds possible upcoming data. The thing I earlier mentioned in the video, but these are just a recap of them. Power supply, convert electricity DC to DC and distribute power to motherboard, drives, and fans. Cooling system include fans and heat sinks to prevent overheating. Important, without cooling, CPU and GPU can be damaged. Cards handle image video rendering. Sound card improve audio input output quality. Network interface card enable LAN or Wi-Fi connection. Ports USB, HDMI, Ethernet. Audio power cards give extra capabilities. Gaming 3D high quality sound. Like these are expansions, like they are adding extra capabilities to your computer to perform different things. Tools required for disassembly and assembly. Phillips flat head screwdriver used to open and tighten screw on the computer case and component. Anti-static wrist strap worn on the wrist and to prevent electrostatic discharge that can damage parts. Soft brush or compressed air used to remove and dust and dirt from inside the system safely. Magnetic tray or container keeps screw and small part organized during disassembly. Thermal paste applied between CPU and heat sink to improve heat transfer and cooling efficiency. Safety precaution before disassembly. Power off and unplug the system. Use anti-static strap or touch a grounded surface. Work on a flat and clean dry surface. Handle components by edge only. Keep screw organized. Do not touch gold connectors or chips. Electrostatic discharge, even a small static spark can permanently damage internal part, so be careful of that. Oh, thank you for you, and this is all from my side. Hope you enjoyed the video.